Hi, it's Rochelle Bradley.
Hi, I'm CJ Baty.
And I'm going to ask her some questions and put her on the spot.
Thank you.
So how did you get inspired to write? How did you start?
I've always told stories, written stories of some sort. And with my kids, I was always making up crazy things and stuff. And I journaled a lot when I was a teenager, and I kept a journal even when I was a young adult. There was a truck going by. And so I've always written in some form or shape, but my son introduced me to a website called Fan Fiction, and I actually started reading a lot of Twilight fan fiction. Is back when Twilight was first starting, the craze, and got interested in writing my own stuff. So I started there. Someone noticed me and asked me if I'd like to write my own stuff, and I said, well, yeah, I'd like that a lot. And so that's how it began.
Awesome. And why did you choose to do the male gay romance?
Well, one, it's hot. Two, I found I never read those stories about the heroine and needing to find the perfect man, and I wasn't into that at all. Even as a young person, I was more of a mystery reader or historical, and I just found that as I was reading male on fan fiction, which they called it slash back then, I just loved the stories. I loved the communication between two men. It's so different than the communication between a man and a woman. And, there's still romance, and there's still love, and tease, and I don't know. It just appealed to me, and so that's what I write.
All right. I'm resting my arm.
So we're back.
Yay! And we get to see the pretty blue sky. The trucks are still here.
Yes.
All right, so somebody found you on fan fiction and asked you to work with them, and they will publish you.
Yes.
So I know you've done a couple different publishers, but now you're also indie, so you're what they consider a hybrid. What are some pros for being with a publisher, and what are some cons?
I think both of the publishers that I worked with were actually what we would call an indie publisher now. They weren't like brick and mortar publishers. So I didn't have to have an agent. I didn't have to.
So they were a small press?
They were a small press.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the pro to that was I was new and very inexperienced. I had no idea how to market, how to get my work out to the public, and that's what they did. They did that part of it for me. I had no idea how to format, create a cover. I knew how to tell a story, so that was
so
the
they
pros.
held your hand through that process.
Right. The cons, they get a piece of it.
Yeah.
I think that is probably that, and the fact that they actually hold the rights to your stories for the length of your contract. Now, most of those contracts are 2 to 3 years, so it's not forever, but it can be difficult if that press goes under. It's sometimes very difficult to get your rights back.
Yeah,
so that would be the cons.
Heard some horror stories, but you've been lucky in that regard.
Yes, I was very lucky.
So you've gotten the rights back, and you've also written new works.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now an indie publisher or writer.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you currently working on? What is your next project that will be published?
I am working on a series called The Legend of the Ghost Train, and 2 of the books are out, Smoky Mist and Cannon Fire. And the next book is called Coal Dust and probably will be out around the 1st of August. All the stories are standalones. They're connected by this legend.
And where did you find the legend?
I made it up.
Okay, so what is the legend?
The legend of the ghost train is actually a bunch of old tales that I remember from when I was a girl, and that there was this ghostly train that traveled and would pick up souls and take them to their destination or help them find a lost loved one or to reconnect with. And so that's what my ghost train does. Each of these stories has a past, characters from the past that were never, the lovers were never united in death. They were separated for one reason or another. And the future in these, or the present day in these stories, the men in that time is trying to help them solve their past problems so that they can be together. And Smoky Mist takes place in a lumber camp in Townsend, Tennessee. Cannon Fire takes place during the Civil War in Jonesville, Virginia. And Coal Dust takes place in the 1930s in Harlan County, Kentucky. All of these are historical sites, and I put in the book information about what was actually happening during that time.
Awesome. So you're using the actual history,
right,
to write. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about you as a writer is that you incorporate and research American history, and it makes it feel, well, it is real because it's real history. But that's what not very many people. I can't say not. There are some, but Americana history
is very, very rare. My other series, the Pinkerton Man series, is very much.
You should read it. I love it.
Very much early American, and it's of course about a Pinkerton agent, but it also takes place in New York and St. Louis, and then Durango, Colorado, and places where modern things are happening, but also we're still living in that Wild West kind of feel. And you don't see a lot of books about that.
Right. That's one of the things I really I admire about that, because you're not only is it MM, which is kind of taboo back then.
Yeah.
You know, it's Americana history, and there were people who felt that way back then, but how did they express it? And you touch on that, and you express how people had to hide it or deal with it or whatever.
And I think, and you're right, it was very taboo, but it really existed more than we realize it did, even in the Old West. And in New York, I found out a lot I didn't know about the gay community in the early 1900s in New York, which shocked me.
So that particular book is Murder in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, there's interesting history about the hotel. I mean, when she was writing it, we were probably at Panera. This is where we're recording this. And she was telling me that there was actually a section at the one hotel, which the
Astor Hotel, which at that time it was the Waldorf Astoria. Now it's the Astor Hotel. Or vice versa. I can't remember.
It was set aside back then, even, that if you were on that side of the
bar,
then you were a dandy or whatever.
Yeah. And as long as you were respectful, dressed appropriately, behaved appropriately, it was not frowned upon. And so men came there to meet other men.
Because they were limited back then. And
right.
That was cool that they allowed that. I mean,
it's that was really a strange thing to find out.
A part of history that it's not like generally known. That's cool.
Right.
So the Ghost Train, the third one, is your next
Yes.
published, and then I heard that you're going to be doing something interesting, co-writing.
Yes, I am going to do my first co-writing attempt with Grace Augustine, who is a fabulous author. She writes fantasy, and it's amazing. And she has a dragon series, and I've never done that. But it has a MM, or a gay couple, that she wants to promote in the next book. And it will be out in December. It has a New Year's theme, and I'm not exactly sure what the title is going to be right yet. But
So you're writing an MM Dragon Shifter book.
yes,
That's awesome.
different.
Okay, so tell everybody your where they can find you.
I have a website, CJBaty.com. And that will link you to my Facebook pages, my Twitter, my blog. You can sign up for the newsletter there. I'm actually going to have a brand new newsletter released the 1st of July and being mailed out. I'm getting that ready right now.
Awesome.
So, it's good.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Quarantine is over.
It was wonderful.
So check out her books. She really is a great writer, not only for the MM and the romance aspect, but also for the Americana, because she puts a lot of research into it. And she's an awesome person.
Thank you.
Show her some love.
Oh, thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.